Yes, I know that it's on. I do. There's a point to this, though. Yes. All right. Welcome to the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast with your host, board cleaner Chris Bernard. Okay, so not all campaigns work like you expected. Sometimes they work out. Sometimes they don't. Oops. Yeah. So the point of that little exercise in cleaning the board was we had a campaign that went, and it was a Father's Day campaign for one of our clients. And they were marketing to basically fathers, dads, right? And the campaign did not perform like it was supposed to. Literally, it received a 0.5 ROI. So literally, it did not make money. Which is terrible, just terrible. Since we're tracking stuff, we know exactly what either makes money or what doesn't. So hopefully you're able to hear me just fine. I did not check my settings here. Let me go ahead and make sure we're looking good. Audio's looking good. Okay, cool. So believe it or not, even the best of agencies will never perform always max expected, right? There's this thing called choice in the marketplace. And for whatever reason, no matter how much you optimize, sometimes that doesn't necessarily work out to your advantage. So we did a deep dive here. The title of today's call, or title of today's message, really is Campaign Evaluation Listening, Changing the Place and Promotion, right? So let me bring up kind of this. Well, before we start there, you guys all know about the 4 P's of marketing, right? Product, that's the thing that you're making. Price, which is how much you're going to sell it for. And those don't have to be the same for every audience group or market segment. Place, which is often the distribution of it. So that's the method. That's the actual location of which you're putting the stuff. Sometimes it's in stores, sometimes it's online. And then there's the actual promotion of it. And those two kind of cross over every once in a while, right? In terms of product placement and things like that. So for example, in 1995, let's see, James Bond, right? James Bond. He would always have the Aston Martin vehicle. 1995, that changed. It changed to that BMW M3. I think it was the M3, right? Was it the M3? No, Z3. Sorry, I'm sure I'm going to get a whole bunch of BMW people just going crazy on me. But Pierce Brosnan decides not to get into an Aston Martin, but he decides to get into that BMW Z3. And believe it or not, that car was not even set to release until later on in the year. But by that month, the end of that month, BMW already had 9,000 orders for that vehicle. So just by adjusting the place, right, of where it showed up and leveraging the distribution promotional tool, they ended up boosting sales. So I'm going to walk you through this campaign of what we basically did right and did wrong, in hopes, because we did come up with some action steps, right, in terms of this client. Okay, well, let's water the bridge. Let's try a different approach. Let's work through these issues. So I think we have a much better strategy based on the information, the learnings that we've known about now, and we can actually go ahead and do something kind of different and cool. So I'm going to flick over a proverbial chart so you can see here. And I am going to allow you to see this. I don't think there's no information from a client perspective on this, but let's go ahead and zoom in this guy a little bit so you can see a little bit better. This site has literally been up for 2 years and never had any traffic on it until we actually touched it. They've been trying everything. So in November, actually, and you can kind of see that, we started to do like basic SEO. And then we also, for the holiday season, started to do a campaign program in order to boost sales there as well. So in this chart, we started to do organic optimizations. This site was nowhere to be found. It was slower than all get up. We did not build it. But we tried everything in a bag of chips to optimize it in terms of the speed performance. And those were using the metrics that Google is telling us are important, right? So we started to do that, and we saw progression, right? Then actually we did paid ads, and in January we decided, okay, well, let's home in on that next, let's say, campaign. Now that we've got some of that foundational content in place, let's go ahead and build out all of this really great content focused on Father's Day, and let's see what we can do with it, right? No, we did a keyword insight. We know which keywords that we had to in order to pop. The purpose of the exercise in that January, February, and even March time period was optimizations for search. That was organic, right? So we ended up optimizing for this specific, for these specific search words. And as you can see in this lighter teal line is the organic traffic. The light sky blue or blue is paid traffic. And you can see where we started, basically there's always a little bit of a lag time in some of this data here. But you can see in March, we had massive organic SEO, and then all of a sudden the floor just kind of dropped out. I have talked to you before at length about looking at those indicators that Google gives you in terms of those critical vitals. If you don't know where those are at, email me. I can send you the link for that stuff because we've reviewed that in previous situations. But this is a prime example of no matter how much great content you have, if Google doesn't like the experience of which your page loads slow, it doesn't meet expectations, users are given that feedback of clicking that back button to go back, this is exactly that problem, okay? So literally we tanked again. Now, we were doing paid ads. Literally, we were doing paid ads for that campaign for the Father's Day promotion until like the 11th of June. So you can see, literally after that, we dropped it basically off because we couldn't get the product out in time. So you can see where the organic kicked in. But in the meantime, we were actually pushing a brand new website. Literally, there was so much code issues with this website that was previously built. Even though we did improve the speed, it would never actually get out of the basement. But we didn't know that until you actually go ahead and push that live and you find out, what's going on in terms of the performance, and then letting Google spiders come in and figure out where it needs to be. All of a sudden there, it's not, and then it tables off. And that process takes about 3 weeks or so. So anyway, we're kind of running through that. So anyway, we have a new site that's now being launched. And appears to be accepting of Google. Google appears to like it with the speed and things like that. Much more cautious to come in here, though. But again, we're showing a significant increase in organic rankings, which we do expect now because we have been looking at the critical vitals, and we understand that the site performs far better than what the previous one was, the one that now we built. We can now start actually enjoying some of the benefit to the investment of not only the organic search that we did way back when, but also the blessings of any advertising that comes in, whether it's Google AdWords or social media programs or whatever that case may be, to a much better experience for that guest. But also any advertising dollars that came into that are going to result in a higher conversion. So I hope that makes sense for you. So this is what we do in terms of evaluation of what works and what doesn't. And so net campaign did not meet expectations. It was a 0.5 ROI, which means it costs us $2 to get $1 back. That is not acceptable, but we can learn from it, okay? So what did we learn? And what are we gonna do? With this client, we're going to, let me go back to the full page because you don't need to see that anymore. So the first thing we're going to do is based on this analytics, and you can check this. This is going to vary based on your industry, right, in terms of who you are. But the first thing we know, the first thing we're going to zero in on is the core SEO. I mean, we want to make sure we're doing that well. And this would include, again, just the basics of SEO, right? Know which keywords you're going after. H1 header tags. Make sure there's a good, bolds and alt image and title text tags. Just this is a WordPress website, this new website. It was previously as well. It just had a bunch of other optimization edits that were slowing us down. The net is you could use Yoast, right? SEO plugin tool Yoast, and basically get the green light for your content. But you have to make sure you're targeting that right keyword. So remember to do that. a little bit of a flash going on there. I'm hoping you're still recording. So that's the first thing. And there's value in that, especially as you look at this chart. But again, that great content will not get love from Google unless your site loads fast and is a good page for that guest coming in. Okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing that we learn is our content is extremely shareable for this client. It's fun, it's unique, it's engaging, I hate to use the word satisfying. So it's involved in construction. People are putting pictures and things like that up on walls, and the project is done and it looks great. They're happy about it, right? So the content is extremely shareable. So this specific product, we're targeting for that, like that dad to go after, but you're going to pick it up maybe once every year, or maybe a couple years, or whatever the case may be. Well, the goal of this, or the thought behind this next step, is because it's so shareable, let's go after kind of the construction industry, people that are going to be using this on a regular basis. So these are people that are constantly engaging with the product and love to make things kind of beautiful, right? So we're going to be giving them kind of a technology, okay? So we're going to say shareable. We're going to say shareable. And the reason why this is important, guys, is because no matter who your target market is, if we can get we'll call them loyalists, right? Lovers of our product, to share that product out in any way, shape, or form, that is always well-earned visibility. So there's a tool out there specifically for WordPress, and they may make it for other ones too. But basically, if you're a tech or a customer, and let's say you're doing a project install and the place looks great, you're excited about it, being able for that guest or that customer to be able to share that information easily, to share their project with you on your website is like gold, okay? You need to be, a couple things you need to be thinking about that though, right? Is when that customer takes their phone and does that shot and comments and things like that and shares it easily to your website, that automatically posts on your website with your approval, of course. It goes in draft form, right? Until you give approval. Your marketing team will give approval for it. But then not only that, once it gets approval, it can actually be automatically shared out to social media. So your marketing person, all they basically have to do is approve a post and it goes live. Okay, and they can make edits too if they need to before. So it's thinking in terms of making our product more shareable, because that was one of the big feedback points that we got. The people that did use our product love the product, okay? So, and again, we can even incentivize that. So let's say I have 100 people that are willing to go ahead and share that content over the course. I can actually encourage shareability, on social media and things like that. I can encourage it by, let's say, the most creative post, or I can even share that with, or their shares, right? So I can look at how many shares they did or how many likes they got and put them into a drawing for like a gift card for $100 or something of that nature. Something that allows them to be rewarded for that effort without buying votes per se, but just makes it fun and interesting. That is an idea. So shareable, and I'm going to say shareable with promotion, because I think that second part is pretty important. Third, we had proven success with people that use our stuff real frequently. Okay, and these would be like interior decorators and designers and installers associated with like service-based industries. So whether it's curtains or even AC contractors, or anytime wire is being used and you need a place to kind of put stuff on your belt instead of just throwing on the floor and making it look kind of crappy, plus somewhat dangerous at times, you can actually go ahead and use this product to go ahead and do that. Or even facility managers for hospitals. Okay, so let's kind of summarize this into something that's biteable here. New target. Okay, so basically we started with this really, really big channel, and now we're kind of zeroing in on specific areas that we know we have success with. Kind of makes sense. So this campaign, even though it scored a 0.5 ROI, we can learn from those things to make them better. So the fourth thing we're learning from this is, again, we've kind of seen it, but basically going down that commercial avenue. So we're going to be targeting the commercial. In this case, we're going after the B2C, right? Business to consumer. But now we're going to switch it up and maybe go after the business to business, right? So we're going to change our focus a little bit. So these two might be the same, actually. New target, these kind of affiliated together. But what that means for us is a couple different things. Let's assume that it's a company that employs let's say it is an interior decorating firm, okay? They may want their people to go ahead and have these. So if I have 10 interior decorators that are actually working for me, I might be the person you want to talk to because there's 10 units of sales there, right? So there's a couple things you can do that help not only get that relationship, to find that relationship, but also to convert on that relationship. The first thing you're going to be able to do is you're going to have to create a buy page, right? So if you're talking to Chris Bernard's interior design, agency, right? You're going to have to tell me why this is important. So you're going to have to give me that value proposition, that features and benefits on a specific page. So you're going to give me a page that talks about why I want to buy, right? What are the hurdles? What are the pains that you're going to be relieving, right, from me in this? You're going to make my people look more professional. You're going to save me frustration having to clean up things. You're just going to make my job a lot. You're going to save me time on the job, because if it doesn't take me an hour and a half now, and it takes me, because I don't have cleanup time, it takes me 45 minutes as the business owner. That means I can almost get 2 jobs out of that as opposed to the one, right? So really good opportunities to flush out those features and benefits and create that into a page that's helpful. And I would strongly encourage you to even have video with that, by the way. The other thing that you're going to want to do is, just because you've got them there, now you need to do that promotion stuff. And when I'm talking about promotion, guys, this is like LinkedIn. B2B is great with LinkedIn. If you're not doing LinkedIn promotions and advertising, when you're B2B, you're missing out. Do I dare say? Let's just, what the heck? Why not go for it? I am going to talk to you while I pull this up, so that you won't be able to see my screen until I let you, but I'm going to talk you through this. One of the things that is really, really quite beautiful about LinkedIn, if you guys, first of all, there's LinkedIn, first of all, there's just regular LinkedIn, right? But there's also, let's show it. What the heck, why not? Here we go. Oh, okay. Now you see it. Okay, cool. So this is like LinkedIn normal, right? Good. But there's also the Sales Navigator, which is a paid SA, let's say sales, SaaS, right? Basically, it's a monthly charge subscription. So if I want to go after, we talked about facilities managers. So if I want to do, well, I actually already have the query and search, but let's just do it like I'm doing hospitals. I want to target hospitals because I think that this is a great product for hospitals. And you can do this for your business and find out what makes sense for you. So, okay, I've got hospitals. Great. There's 4 million plus. Okay. Couple rules of thumb: never target people that don't have their picture on there. Make sure their profiles are good, and then also look for opportunities for people that you have connections with or shared. If you have nothing that's you're connected with, nothing that is kind of interesting, comment on their profile. Comment on the shirt that they have, right? This is a cocktail party. Don't go in to sell unless, just pretend it's a cocktail party, right? The person just walked through the door. Don't be an idiot. It's real simple. Don't be an idiot. Don't spam people, okay? So let's say I want to do facilities managers, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at titles. I'm going to say facilities. And look at that. I start typing in facilities, and I have all of these wonderful, wonderful options in terms of facility title people. I can use this for companies, company names and stuff like that too, levels of the organization, function, all that stuff, right? So I'm going to say I want to go after, vice president of facilities. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of cool. Oh, okay. So if my product is good for facility managers at hospitals, I want to talk to Mr. Patrick. I don't want to talk to Mr. Clayton. It looks like, I don't know, he's a captain. He's facilities at Seattle's Children's Hospital. That's kind of cool. And again, as I'm scanning through this stuff, by the way, I'm telling you this for a reason, because it is the next point that we're going to go over uses the same kind of technology. So I'm looking at this. I'm actually looking at locations of where they're at. I know he's in Illinois. I lived in Chicago for a little bit, so there might be some connections in there. It looks like I have a couple that might be interesting. A couple other people that might be advantageous to talk to. So we can use InMail to talk to these people, right? I can just connect with them, but I may want to actually go look at their profile. Okay. There might be people in that organization around them that I want to kind of talk to, and I can use this tool for that. So I can connect with them. I can message them. I can actually go look if they're active on Twitter and things like that. I can connect with them there. This is just B2B sales 101, guys, but it's thinking in terms of your customers, right? Okay, I've got my buy page, but they're not going to know about this wonderful buy page till I introduce them to it. And that buy page is kind of like my one pager, right? This is why you need to work with us. So great stuff there. Great stuff there. If you need help kind of figuring that out, we can certainly do that. I'm just kind of glancing through days already. So here's Miami. That's kind of cool. Texas, Parkland. Texas. Oh, we went to Kent. Went to Kent University. So I'd be able to reach out to him and connect with him on that way. See what I kind of did there? It's kind of like it's an accelerated version of that, cocktail party hour, because they're telling me everything about them. So I can kind of say, we connect here and here and here. I don't have to be all that smart. I just have to recognize certain things that I'm seeing. And it may not be like, you may not have gone to the same school, right? He went to Ohio. So he's an Ohio guy initially. Wonder what part. But there might be people that we know. There might be a post that he's recently done that's kind of interesting. There might be other friends in there. Like I said, there might be gravy in here. Let's just go look. Yeah, probably. He doesn't have that many people following on June 6th. So maybe he's kind of getting back into it. But look, June, March. So he's not really into that. Plus, he's got a very small following and stuff like that. That might be. But you get the idea with this, I think. You can reach out to them using that technology, which is really, really cool. So that is another learning from us, right? Kind of falling out in terms of that place, the promotion, kind of that combination of those two things. The fifth one, where's my marker? The fifth one is going to be distribution network. So this is right in line with what's going on with this, but slightly different. There you go. So you can see all of my wonderful, wonderful things going on there. This is slightly different because, this product can go directly to these business owners and they can buy it for their employees, right? To make their job more efficient, better, safer, et cetera, all the benefits are going to show up on that buy page. But we can also talk about this product has interest for certain retailers who may want to sell that product. So what's in it for them? Okay, so we're going to have to create, just like we did for the other thing, we're going to have to create a page. If I am, let's say my product was appropriate for Whole Foods-ish, okay? And you could actually do this. You could, a simple way of doing it, saying, okay, it's a retailer. So whether it's a Whole Foods or an Ace Hardware or Publix or whatever the case may be, that buyer, those buyers, the people making those decisions to put stuff in their stores, okay? You need to go find them. But we need to take them someplace first. This is going to help you in your sales process to understand the features and benefits of your product or service to them as a distribution partner, right? A sales partner, okay? Because you're selling through them. They're going to stock your stuff, or a Walmart, and they're going to sell it, okay? Walmart, there's complexities associated with that. But that's all you're doing, is using this as a distribution tool. They're buying your product and they're selling it for you, okay? So it's really great to be able to work through that from a wholesale perspective, but you need to do two things. The first one, the primary one, is to, again, get that features and benefits page going, preferably with video, okay? Because you can use that on LinkedIn and stuff like that to really do some amazing stuff when you find those right people, like Patrick over here, to send them to, so they go, oh, I get it. I understand. That's kind of cool. I need to know more, okay? Or I need to buy, right? Those are the kind of things that engagement, 200 to 300% increase with video. Very, very important. So get that buy page up, specifically for your wholesalers, right? The next thing you're going to be able, and tell them why they need to carry your product, whether that's a sales pitch, whether that's customer reviews, yes, whether that's a quality satisfaction, whether it's a buyback program potentially. Think about those kind of things that should go on that page. So if you're talking to like the buyer for Publix, for example, you need to say, these are the things that are really, really important at convincing them, or him or her, why they need to carry my stuff, and knock down those barriers that you need to be knocking down before they even get there. Because there's going to be questions or hurdles in her mind about buying your stuff. So knock those down right away in that buy page, okay? And then we basically, again, do the promo thing, right? We're going ahead and we're going to find those people on LinkedIn and we're going to market to them. Now, in this case here, I may actually, let's see, with the commercial, I would probably do both, actually. I think we're probably going to do both. Once we have those pages up, since we know who we're targeting, we're going through this process of figuring out the individuals, specific individuals. We will probably be doing advertising using InMail, both InMail as well as sponsored ads. The PPC version of it, okay? And taking them to that landing page with that video. I'm probably using the video as a tease, actually, to some degree, or a short snippet of that video for each one of those, either the commercial sales or the distribution partner, okay? So again, what started off to be kind of what appeared to be kind of a loss has a lot of gold in it in terms of information that we can use to make those programs much, much better. Because remember where we started. Let's go back over here again. We started with a site that basically was getting freaking nothing, okay? And we've been learning along the ways as to who is our best customer. Because remember, for 2 years, they got nothing. They didn't have anything prior to November. So the people that did buy from their product, their site, knew directly about them, which is why you didn't see anything ended up happening with this. We come in November and saying, we're going to at least do some of these things to get the ball moving in terms of SEO. And then we engage in some PPC programs, but there's so much data and insight in there. We made the mistake of not just trying to fix what they had in terms of a website to no avail. And we basically had to rebuild the website, which was fine. And we're learning from that as well. So there was much gold to be taken out of the investment in time and effort that went into these programs. So I challenge you, as you think about your campaigns, whether they won or whether they lost, I think it's really important to, you got to learn from them and then be able to have that strategy, like what we did with our client this last week. We said, this is the performance, all right? Let's come up with strategies that, based on the information, the learning that we had, to make these programs far better in the future, okay? Because this is a growing process. Rome was not built in a day, right? We are still accountable to the numbers, but we're going to make sure that we do things strategically. So this was about that campaign evaluation, looking at what worked and what didn't, and then changing basically the place and the promotion of that product that we think is going to be performing far, far better for the client. So I challenge you to do the same thing. I also challenge you to subscribe to the newsletter list and go to marketingwebcast.live and register with the button. You can also then follow this channel either on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all of that stuff. You can follow it so you can get those updates coming through. I'd love to hear your comments and things like that, things that we can improve on, things that you need to explore with us that you think would be helpful to other people. And we will see you back here next Monday morning at 11 a.m. for the 11 a.m. Monday Morning Marketing Webcast. I am your host, Chris Bernard. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks so much for joining me today, and have a blessed, blessed rest of your day. All right, take care. Bye-bye. As soon as I find my mouse, there it is, over there, 3 screens later, and